Zombies. Flesh-eating, brain-eating, unholy, undead nightmares from beyond the grave. Killers with an insatiable appetite, spreading an unholy plague upon the world and infecting anyone unfortunate to cross them. So why haven't people made them hot yet? In the wake of monster teen dramas like Twilight and My Babysitter's a Vampire, where hideous monsters are becoming romanticized, I'm pleasantly surprised a lot of executives managed to stay away from these walking, rotting body bags. Until one day, when someone at Disney, of all places, had the balls to make these monstrous mooks attractive to young girls, in a musical format no less. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Zombies. Zombies is an American-made musical that aired on Disney Channel on February 16th, 2018. Why this did not air on Halloween is beyond me. Its journey was apparently 7 years lost in the grave. The film originally started out as a pilot for a show called Zombies and Cheerleaders, which sounds like a video game, not gonna lie, which was filmed all the way back in 2011, created by David Light and Joseph Rasso, who both went on to write and co-produce the Zombies we know today. The pilot contained a few differences, such as the absence of a few characters and the titular zombies looked more human with patches of green, though the gist remained the same, zombie musical set in a high school. Although the pilot was filmed, it went unaired and to this day, no footage is yet to be found, only behind the scenes pictures and one screenshot. That being said, little is known about the production of the movie Zombies. Not even the Zombies Wiki, which exists apparently, or the Disney Wiki have anything to say about its production. What I do know based on research is that it took a few hairstylists to make one wig and it was shot in Toronto, Ontario, Canada over the course of 10 weeks, 4 of which were spent rehearsing and 6 actually filming. So after 7 years in development hell, the movie would premiere to an audience of 1.3 million viewers over the course of 8 airings, becoming one of Disney Channel's smash hits. It even got a sequel less than 2 years later, and apparently there's a third one in the works, which has yet to come out. Today, once again, as a Halloween special, I'm going to be talking about the movie Zombies because I got nothing else better to do besides playing Fortnite. Fun fact, I was going to cover the sequel in this video, but I ran out of time. So the question is Zombies anything worth talking about? Is it a good watch for the Halloween season? If you like what I'm doing, feel free to subscribe and ring the bell icon to be notified about my latest videos. I am 500 subs away from a Steven Universe review and the ability to monetize, so that helps as well. Nut up and shut up, zombie hunters, because this is Zombies. So the movie begins with a motion comic sequence that looks like one of those comic book cutscenes from Infamous. The movie takes place in the town of Seabrook, located in I don't know what country, but regardless, Seabrook is a peaceful, perfect town full of nice, perfect people, and overall having a perfectly good time. Until one day when someone spilled lime soda at a power plant, transforming Seabrook into a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and turning its inhabitants into the zombies. Chaos ran amok, but then they built a barrier and everyone is happy now. 50 years later, the zombies have been rehabilitated, regulated by the government, and regained their intelligence, thanks to a Z-band bracelet that electronically controls their hunger, all explained by our epic protagonist, Zed, played by Milo Manheim.
I'm Zed, and yeah.
I'm the Joker, baby!
Zed tells us, yes, he can talk to us, that it's the zombies' first day in high school and that his desire is to join the football team.
Go Seabrook! Oh yeah!
Well, he's dead. Cut to a rich-looking ass house where we meet our other protagonist, Addison, played by Meg Donnelly, daughter of the mayor and a wannabe cheerleader with a dark secret under that blonde wig, and oh my god, she's turning into Elsa from Frozen.
Let it go! Let it go!
Apparently she was born with white hair that not even the doctors can explain it. Hope you like that character building because that's all you're gonna get. Zed also has a little sister named Zoe, played by Kingston Foster, who really wants a dog, but because zombies are not allowed, Zed has to be a substitute. Wow, so this film promotes necrophilia and furry roleplay. Wow, what drugs were they on when they were making this? Both our heroes start preparing for the day and sing a song about it called My Year. I'll admit that this song is kinda a bop. It's a solid opening to the film and provides a solid introduction to the universe and characters like Zed's friends Eliza, played by Kylie Russell, and Bonzo, played by James Godfrey. and the antagonist, if I can even call him that because of how pathetic he is, Addison's cousin Bucky, played by Trevor Tortman. So the first day begins and, yeah, right after this, I think I could see this movie's rotting flaws. The story isn't paced very well. It's hard for me to describe it, but the best I can is that it feels shifty. First, Addison and definitely not Jared Leto meet in a closet because some alarm went off and Addison realizes that Zed is a zombie and falls in love with him. So yeah, this movie promotes necrophilia. Then Zed is rejected from his football team, then cheerleader tryouts happen and Addison is forced to do zombie racism, then Zed tries to stop his friend from eating someone but goes zombie mode for a brief moment, and saves Addison and somehow is reaccepted to his football team. Like, what? Then we find out that Bucky is zombicist and wants to rid the zombies from his high school, and Zed tries out football but his team is failing so he uses his zombie powers to cheat, and then they go to some zombie punk warehouse and sing a song and are caught by the cops, and Zoe's parents wants to meet Zed. Buddy hatches a master plan to rid the Jokers from Gotham City imposters, then Zed becomes human again to date Addison, plays football, Bucky's goons intervene causing him to go zombie mode, get arrested, then Addison sings a song and lets her white hair down, for some reason, not like she's a walker or anything. The zombies go home, Bucky rids some zombie sympathizers, and then for the finale they sing a big ending song to impress judges and they don't win, but that's okay because it's a happily ever after for zombies and humans in Seabrook. Yeah, that's the story. I can't really tell what this movie's trying to focus on. Is it on zombie racism, or is it on Zed trying to get with a lady? It just keeps going round and round with these contrivances with no rhyme or reason. It's about as all over the place as a slasher film franchise, and it's so hard to get invested in the story. So let's dig deeper into the contents, and find out what's the problem. I gotta tell ya, watching zombies is like the equivalent of watching paint dry. It features sometimes charming, sometimes dull characters doing sometimes charming, sometimes dull stuff together. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, before watching this, I was expecting this movie to be pretty bad, but frankly, it's really dull. It's without a doubt one of the most uncareable movies I've ever seen. I couldn't really care much about this movie because of how broken it is and how unlikable the characters are. If there is one thing I can praise about this movie, it's that it's got a neat sense of set design. The human set pieces have this safe, clean looking cat in the hat-esque set design that has a blue and pink color scheme, and I think it contrasts with the zombie side, which has the best looking set pieces in the entire movie. It also gives off a bit of a Mad Max vibe, with Zombie Town being made of a bunch of scraps and junk. I think the best set piece, alone, in the entire movie has to go to the zombie party dome later in the film. You got all the neon lights, the grimy brick walls, the overall unkeptness of the place really gives off an underground punk feel to it, and it kinda melts my heart if I'm being honest. But yeah, I also gotta address the zombies themselves. I mean, I'll commemorate them for trying, but I think my Babysitter's a Vampire had better looking zombies, because these zombies are not zombies. They look more like the bastard sons of Jared Leto's Joker from Suicide Squad, and at times it looks like the gray stuff on their skin is coming off in a few shots, which I can't tell of whether that skin was edited or they just put on baby powder that dries off too quickly. If I was shown this movie with no context, I probably couldn't tell they were supposed to be zombies. Maybe if they were decorated in rashes, boils, scabs, and overall skin problems, they would probably be more disgusting and more distinct compared to the other characters in the film. But hey, this is Disney I'm talking about. They would never show a disgusting zombie to kids, right? Right? Anyway, this movie is a musical, in the same vein as High School Musical. I have no memory of watching that movie, so I can't really compare it. All these songs were written by several different people, and a lot of them are a mix of pop and semi-rap sounding songs. Not gonna lie, some of these songs are pretty catchy, but they're also really forgettable and generic. They all just come across as the music I would hear on the radio in Fortnite, and Fortnite has a more varied music selection than this. You know, I think it'd be pretty funny if all the zombies in the movie performed with death metal music. Imagine being a neighbor in Seabrook next to Zombie Town, and you wake up to zombies dancing to this. Anyway, as I said in the beginning, the opening song My Year is a solid banger and a neat establishing song of the movie's universe. It's also one of two songs that I kinda like, if not for how it sets up the movie. Fired Up sucks. It's loaded with some terrible auto-tune and some of the singing sounds awful. Someday kinda sounds like one of those old Disney Channel songs from the late 2000s. Doesn't mean it's good though, it's really on the nose, but it kinda has a catchy tune to it.
Someday, this could be ordinary. Someday, could we be something extraordinary?
You and me side by side,
Out in the broad daylight, if they laugh, we'll say, we're gonna be someday.
Bam is the catchiest song in the entire movie, and the second song, I'll admit, is kinda good. The song is really a guilty bop to listen to. Plus, it literally references Zombieland. What more could you ask? But then, the movie's crown jewel is Stand, this terrible song that's sung out of nowhere around the climax of the film, where Addison takes off her wig and reveals her Elsa hair. This phenomena is never explained in the film, by the way. The lyrics are painfully on the nose, the instrumentation is dull, and overall it borders on the line of parody that it's laughable.
I'm gonna stand, yeah. I'm gonna stand, yeah. I'm gonna stand.
Anyway, another major problem with this movie is the story. I basically recapped in the previous segment, but the movie doesn't really have a strong focus. It doesn't know what it wants to be. Is it a movie about football? Is it a musical about love? Or is it a commentary about segregation and zombie racism? It just jumps all over the place with scenes that feel really forced and disconnected from what it's trying to be. None of the events that happen in this movie feel connected and earned. Like at one point in the film, Addison just takes off her wig, revealing her white hair, singing about making a stand, while the zombies are getting arrested, and then she just gets booed for it. Like, what was even the point of this scene? Anything that happens in this movie just feels artificial, like this movie was made by some special AI that had basically no idea how to make a good movie. The story is really just full of contrivances that make it hard for me to get invested in the story, or the world for that matter. If it's trying to be any of the things I mentioned, then I think it must have missed the mark. I think the idea of zombie segregation is a really neat idea on paper, and I think it could work in a horror comedy or a drama type movie, but it's done in the most toned down way possible, and they don't do anything interesting with its premise. I know it's a movie for kids, but like, can't you have pride in your work? Show how truly cruel it is for a zombie to live in Seabrook society. Not showing enough emotion of living in this world doesn't really make me feel invested in these characters or their plight. Also, are there more zombies beyond Seabrook? Assuming the lime soda virus spread everywhere else, how have other human settlements handled the apocalypse? Do they follow similar laws of segregation? Are there human survivors living among the zombie wasteland? Who knows, maybe these questions are answered in the sequels. The writing I also find to be real annoying, like the characters kind of give off this over-the-top feel and it just rubs me the wrong way. I was fine with this in My Babysitter's Vampire because it never took itself seriously, but this just comes off as unnecessarily quirky for quirky's sake and it just feels flat and hollow. And the humor doesn't help either because really, it's just not that funny. The jokes often fall flat, but plenty of this movie's aspects are so ridiculous that they can be accidentally funny. The characters in this movie suck. They're about as flat and one-dimensional as a pancake with no depth or compelling worth. Hell, if it wasn't for the oddly detailed Zombies wiki, I would have a hard time describing these characters' personalities because they almost don't have any. Zed is a zombie, as he says himself.
And yeah, I'm a zombie.
He's very confident, headstrong, and willing to give zombies a chance at society. Also, Zed owns a plant that he continuously waters throughout the movie. Is this movie a prequel to Plants vs. Zombies? Addison is the love interest of Zed. She's sweet, kind, a wannabe cheerleader, and later on a zombie activist after attending a zombie party. Apparently. There's also other characters like Zoe, Zed's sister, who shows up a couple times in the movie just to act cute and shows up in the finale performance, and she likes furry roleplay apparently. Eliza, Zed's friend, who also desires equality for zombies, like really they could have done better with this idea. Bonzo, who speaks exclusively in the language of the zombies. There's also Addison's parents who run Seabrook. There's also the head administrator of Seabrook High School, who's not in the movie for too long, but who cares. The coach, who is actually the lone best character in the entire movie because he actually gets a couple of good lines. There's also Addison's black friend, who I honestly forgot her name, but she's really annoying, so who cares. And the main antagonist, Bucky. Addison's cousin and the head of the cheerleading squad. Throughout the film, his goal is to rid Seabrook of the zombie populace and make it a perfectly human school. So yeah, it's basically racism, which he basically fails at because he's redeemed at the end for no reason other than happy ending. Bucky is honestly a really annoying antagonist, like his performance feels hammed up and stilted and he's not even doing any of his work. His underlings are. He's a pathetic antagonist if I have ever seen one. The acting is, serviceable.
There's no standout performance I can think of, the choreography is decent, and the coach is still the best character in the movie.
Really? Yeah. With a monster-like monster player like you, we could turn the football team around. And with fan support, maybe I can keep my job, move out of my parents' basement, get a cat, get a gym membership, turn it all around. It sounds so dreamy. I need you on the team, Zed.
So yeah, I honestly almost got nothing positive to say about Zombies. Not that I would hate it or anything, but I just don't care for it. It's a painfully boring, annoying, and contrived movie that could have been done better with its premise if it wasn't pitched to Disney. I mean, this was shot in 10 weeks for God's sake. Whether that's Disney pushing this movie to reach the deadline is beyond me. Maybe Netflix would have picked it up and done better with it. Let's move on, I'm getting pretty bored. So about into the 1 hour mark, the zombie dance party is broken up by the cops and Addison is returned to her family. Addison's parents feel very concerned about her and want to meet Zed for themselves. Addison tells this to Zed, to which he says he'll think of something. Meanwhile, Bucky's goons successfully steal Eliza's laptop and set their plan into action. They're gonna show Zed for the monster he really is. So Zed successfully turns himself into a full human and takes Addison out for ice cream. Then Zed attends his football game and Addison cheers on for Zed, much to the dismay of her cousin. But then, Bucky's minions intervene, turning Zed and his zombie friends into the savage beasts they are, which of course causes them to get arrested and for Addison to give a big fat speech about Zed's feelings. Like hell do I care anyways because the characters are as flat as a flat tire. And she sings her song, lets her hair down, people boo at her, it was all for nothing, what a f***ing idiot. So the zombies are taken home, Bucky rids some zombie sympathizers, and with only 13 minutes left of the movie's runtime, Zed's got another plan to save his people. So Zed sneaks into the regional cheer championship in a last attempt to gain the equality trust of humanity, or something, I kinda forgot. Also, Addison is allowed to have her white hair down now, for some reason. So Addison teams up with Zed to save the day. Bucky and his squad are booed by the crowd, but turns out they're booing the little zombie girl Zoe. So Bucky quits because he's a little bitch and a zombicist, leaving the captain duty to Zoe. And so in a last-ditch effort of hope, the zombies, the cheer squad, and Bucky, out of retarded redemption, sing a big epic finale song to impress the judges, which is basically a reprise of Fired Up with different lyrics, and it's basically on the same level of quality as the original, except it's way worse. So they sing and everyone cheers, except they didn't win. So Zed did basically all that shit for nothing. He went on a date with a girl, cheated in football, nearly got arrested, and hijacked a cheering competition and lost. He didn't earn anything. He did jack shit and got away with it. But I guess character progression doesn't matter because everyone is happy now. Humans now love zombies in Seabrook. Zoe gets a dog. Yeah, just don't f it, okay? They perform an ending song and the movie ends. All of this was done with about 10 minutes left in the movie's runtime. That shit sounds faker than the ending of Steven Universe, except it's pretty worse and pretty much describes my opinion on the movie as a whole. Character progression and story flow seemingly doesn't matter in favor of trying to desperately push inequality allegory without enough substance. This ending sucks, and so does the song, which is basically a reprise of My Year, just not as good. Zombies is not a good movie. It's a dull, boring, poorly paced, poorly written, poorly sung film for babies that I think could have been done a lot better had they put more time into it. I mean, it was shot in 10 weeks for God's sake. Wow, Disney Channel really has been going down the shitter, huh? Of course, given Disney Channel's target audience, this movie became a massive success, spawning a sequel and an animated miniseries which looks... yeah, I've never seen neither of these, nor do I feel like it, but apparently werewolves are involved, and I don't mean the big and furry kind. I'm pretty sure this movie has its fans, and hey, that's totally fine. I don't hate this movie, it's just bland. It's just boring and dull. I see some ironic enjoyment out of this movie, but I don't see something special about it either to make me care. If I were to recommend any media with zombies set in high school, I'd pick up Lollipop Chainsaw. It's a game that was written by James Gunn of all people, and I haven't played it, but judging by footage online, it looks pretty fun, so I recommend giving it a try. With that being said, I am BeeMaister Reviews, and so to close out this video, I'm gonna give this movie a 2.5 out of 10. Happy Halloween, and have a good night.